I didn't want to drink tonight, but it was calling out my name, pouring fire over ice instead of pouring it down the drain. There ain't monsters underneath my bed like the one that's living in my head. When I take that sip, it's never just one sip. The problem with whiskey is it gets me being someone I don't want to be, seeing someone I don't want to see in the mirror. And it's clear that the problem with whiskey, when it hits me, is it breaks the soul boy down. And I drink round after merry-go-round, spinning into the deep. I wish it would quit me. The problem with whiskey is whiskey got a problem with me. It ain't gotta be a Friday night for the demons to come back. Neon is a blinding light when it's shining on that glass. The bartender pours it straight to hell. You don't find God on the bottom shelf, but here I am, just a shell of the man I promised you I am. The problem with whiskey is it gets me being someone I don't want to be, seeing someone I don't want to see in the mirror. And it's clear that the problem with whiskey, when it hits me, is it breaks the soul boy down. And I drink round after merry-go-round, spinning into the deep. I wish it would quit me. The problem with whiskey, this whiskey got a problem with me. And losing everything you ever had will make you wish that you loved things and loved you back. The problem with whiskey is it gets me being someone I don't want to be, seeing someone I don't want to see in the mirror. And it's clear that the problem with whiskey, when it hits me, is it breaks the soul boy down. And I drink round after merry-go-round, spinning into the deep. I wish it would quit me. The problem with whiskey is whiskey got a problem with me. Whiskey got a problem with me. Well, I sing how I talk how I was raised. If the fish bite, I toss out every damn I ever gave. About a boss man or a big job, you can find me on a lake with a live well full of long necks. If they don't take the bait, if it ain't 90 proof straight from the hills of Kentucky and hard-earned long day paycheck money. Cast iron cornbread, cooking on Sunday, Dixie whistle in the wind, make a dog come running. When it comes to my songs, my band and my buddies, well, I don't want it, y'all, if it ain't country. There's a gun rack in the back glass of my daddy's Ford, and a beer bottle ashtray on his daddy's porch. They know me by my name down at the corner store, and I'll be this way up till the day there ain't no more than 90 proof straight from the hills of Kentucky and hard-earned long day paycheck money. Cast iron cornbread, cooking on Sunday, Dixie whistle in the wind, make a dog come running. When it comes to my song, my girl and my buddies. Well, I don't want it, y'all, if it ain't country. I want that 90 proof straight from the hills of Kentucky, and hard-earned long day paycheck money. Cast iron cornbread cooking on Sunday, Dixie whistle in the wind make a dog come running. When it comes to my songs, my band and my buddies, yeah, we lived it all, yeah, y'all, you can trust me. Well, I don't want it, y'all, if it ain't country. If it ain't country, no, now if it ain't country, if it ain't country. Yeah. Country. We're the bond that couldn't be broken, then a screen door flung wide open. I need you bad, I want you back, ain't that the way it goes sometimes? I know you hate that I smoke cigarettes, and I said some things that I regret. You're the best at pushing my buttons for a mood swing all of a sudden now. You don't know how to take me, you can't stand the things I do. I'll stay up all night, working on me, waiting on you. You won't give me a reason why you don't want to see this thing through. And I stay busy, working on me, waiting on you. See, this time it's taking a toll on me, and all these nights alone made me see you're the only thing I'm missing. You're racking my brain, I'm reminiscing. I've gotten good at getting by, been getting better by just living life, and it's half past time to change. I'm the only one to blame, 'cause you don't know how to take me, you can't stand the things I do. I'll stay up all night, working on me, waiting on you. You won't give me a reason why you don't want to see this thing through. And I stay busy, working on me, waiting on you. You don't know how to take me, you can't stand the things I do. I'll stay up all night, working on me, waiting on you. You won't give me a reason why you don't want to see this thing through. And I stay busy, working on me, waiting on you. Waiting on, still waiting on. Waiting on, still waiting on. Waiting on, still waiting on. Working on me, waiting on you. Yeah, it's called Love You Like It Is. I played a writer's round in Nashville. I think it was 2020 or early 2021. It had to be 2021. January of 2021, yep. And we stopped, and my buddies Dylan Marlowe and Lee Langston and I stopped and got some Taco Bell and came home, and we had a few drinks that night, I guess. That was back when they would partake a little bit. And Dylan, kid's a savant, by the way, great songwriter. I think he's got a couple number ones now that he's written, but at the time he really didn't, he had a lot of steam, but no major success. But he's always been extremely talented, and Lee's talented as well. But Dylan went upstairs and got his guitar and came down. He was playing this little thing right here. And I had the first verse I was looking at lyrics, I was going to write the next day anyway, so I had like pretty much half a verse written, and it was like sun come up, ain't nothing new. Same old worn out coffee brew. Same old paper, same bad news. Same old me, same old you. We might need to wish on a star like we did in your car when you gave me your heart under that full moon. Won't you see we try something new? Girl, well, I've been waiting all day on this. That feel it for the first time kiss. We could both use a little like it was back then. Innocent, yeah, like a buzz in a beer in the bed of a truck when your daddy didn't know. Back then when love wasn't nothing but our eyes closed. Me kissing you, you leaning in. It ain't the first time, but I'm gonna love you like it is. Dylan had that little rat thing, the buzz in the bed of a... We're gonna take that record we were spinning, we're gonna drop it on a brand new groove. And by the time we leave here tonight, girl, it ain't a feeling that you ever gonna lose. It ain't a feeling that you ever gonna lose. Girl, well, I've been waiting all day on this. That feel it for the first time kiss. We could both use a little like it was back then. Innocent, yeah, like a buzz from a beer in the bed of a truck when your daddy didn't know. Back then when love wasn't nothing but our eyes closed. Me kissing you, you leaning in. It ain't the first time, but I'm gonna love you like it is. Love you like it is. Like your first time tearing down a dirt road. Like the first time turning up a radio. Like the first time that I held you real close. The kind of love only God knows. Girl, well, I've been waiting all day on this. That feel it for the first time kiss. We could both use a little like it was back then. Kinda innocent, yeah. Like a buzz from a beer in the bed of a truck when your daddy didn't know. Back then when love wasn't nothing but our eyes closed. Me kissing you, you leaning in. It ain't the first time, but I'm gonna love you like it is. Tearing down a dirt road, turning up a radio. The kind of love only God knows. Only God knows.
But you did say that, another artist might be looking at one of your songs or whatever. Is that something that you're thinking about whenever you're going into your writing process? Are you thinking like, hey, I'm going to pitch this one, or this one's for my catalog, or what do you think about that?
I just want to write a good song. I mean, so yeah. if it comes out, I mean, if you listen to my catalog, it all is different, but because it's all molded by the different people that I write with. I feel like now Nashville is predominantly artist driven because everybody can be an artist now. So now, everybody's, artistic influence to me shows in a write. And I'm, 50% of the time, I'm not anywhere near the best writer in the room. So a lot of times somebody takes
That's a good place to be, though.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times other people take the reins. It may be my idea, but you may be writing with, you may be writing with some hit songwriter that's just way better than you, and he's going to take the reins from there. And then a lot of times that hit songwriter could be producer as well. So he's got his own little, melodic structure and things that he does, or whatever. Or he could be a successful producer for another artist, and he's maybe trying to, okay, this is a great idea. I've got a lot of success with this artist. Let's try to make it about that artist. I mean, I feel like there's never any, for me, there's not a rhyme or reason as to why or who I'm writing to, but yeah, Nashville definitely has, if somebody's going in to cut, like they have like what do they call it? They know who's going in to record the following week or a month from then or whatever. A lot of times those camps or those artists will get up and write for that artist in particular. But I think every time that I've been up to Nashville writing, you've kind of been trying to write for me.
Yeah, you're more focused. Like the song originated kind of with your idea or whatever, and you're like, this is coming from my heart. This is what I want to write the song about, right? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, yeah.
You mentioned the kind of the Nashville songwriting process, and a little behind the scenes on this is that in between all your takes and stuff, you've already performed and stuff. It was everything I could do to just bite my tongue and like not talk during, just like we need to record the songs first before we start talking. But I think it was like The Problem with Whiskey. I'm not sure if that's the name of the song. Is that the name of the song?
Yeah, Problem with Whiskey, yeah.
Right. So we were talking about kind of the song structure in that, and I said, it sounded like it was, there was some expert crafting in it. And what I meant by that is that the way that the phrasings happen at the end of a chorus or something like that, there's maybe a 2-bar turn that wasn't in the first chorus or something along those lines. The bridge is 4 bars and it's just perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it's really well crafted. So is that why you go to Nashville, is to get maybe a different perspective on it, or to just like get that expert, somebody else involved? What's the thought?
It helps. I mean, the songs to me are so much better when you can put 2 or 3 people on one. I mean, because you've got 3 different opinions and 3 different brains working on the same song. I can write a song by myself tonight if I wanted to. Sure. But, not all, it's not all the time a good song. You get, to me, if you're going to spend the time in Nashville writing, write with some people that are better than you. You know what I mean?
They say that about everything, though, right? Like, if you want to be good at basketball, go play with some people that are better than you, and you'll get better at basketball. Right. If you want to be a better musician, get in a band with people that are better than you. Same thing with songwriting. Sit in a room with the good people.
So that song, I love that song. I've got it recorded, and hope it does well. But I wrote that with Paul Sykes and Drew Trosclair. Drew Trosclair wrote a very viral song, DDD. I'm not going to say just getting.
I don't know.
You don't know it?
No.
Dude, it was the most viral song of 2020. You know it. I'll tell you later.
Okay, I do.
Yeah. Anyway, and with Paul Sykes, Paul's got a couple Lainey Wilson number ones and some more number ones as well. I think he's got 5 or 6 number ones, and I think going into that I had the melody thing, and I didn't want to drink tonight. That's all I had. But Paul hears that, and he's like, and things start flying around the room, and we're like, what's the hook on this? And Paul just blurts out, dude's a hook genius. Like, he didn't have this in his phone. He's just, his head, and this is me, pulling the curtain down, like showing you how good these people are in Nashville. Like, so his head, like, he probably had the whole song mapped out as soon as I said, I didn't want to drink tonight. And he's like, what if it's like the problem with whiskey is whiskey's got a problem with me? And I'm like, dude, that's the story that I want to tell from my idea, my tiny little idea that I had. That's exactly what I want to say. So we're firing ideas back and forth and feeling it that day.
Yeah, you felt it. And stuff. But it connected with everybody in the room, and everybody felt like they contributed. It was like a group project at that point, and becomes maybe bigger than the sum of its parts, like the synergy of having everybody do that. Yeah,
and all 3 of us love it. And we've passed it around town to everybody you can pass it to, and got some good looks on it, and it hadn't been cut by anybody big, but there's been some looks at it, and that's all you can really ask for, because there's thousands of good songs that get written a month there that are getting pitched to the same people that we want to pitch them to. So even getting a look is a big deal for me. Maybe not for Paul or Drew, because they have hits, but I don't know, a boy from Beulah, Alabama, getting a big artist that hears a song that he wrote is pretty cool.
But it's not just that either. It's that it's a really good song, right? And so like there's got to be some pride about that as well, that like, you know, we're going to share it on this, you know, from here, but it's like it's yours. You know what I mean? It's yours and it's excellent.
Yeah.
Speaking of yours and it's excellent, you got over 1.5 million hits on one of your songs. So, or listens on Spotify, I should say.
Yeah.
So I've got my notes here. What was it like, kind of the song's called Working on Me, Waiting on You, right? What was it like when you were kind of writing that and then watching it grow? And does that song mean the same thing to you now than it did then?
Yeah, it means everything to me. I mean, it paved the way for the things that I've been able to do as far as, you know, getting to write with all these hit writers in Nashville. You know, it's the one that made me all my friends that I have up there and got me the publishing deal meetings and all the things. Like, that's the song. But it's technically my brother's story. I wrote it with my little brother, who had a baby this morning, actually. So,
wow,
yeah,
okay.
I'm going to go see him tomorrow. But, yeah, he was dealing with some substance abuse issues and, you know, having some trouble. And my way then to try to connect with him was to write songs with him. He's just as talented as I am, or maybe even more talented on the grand scheme of things, but he could never put it all together and really go do it like I've been able to go do it. But he had the first verse, he had the melody and the first verse of that song almost completely done up to a point, and we wrote the entire song to a different hook. And I was like, man, this don't feel right, and there's something else. And then he said, maybe it's I had this idea, working on me, waiting on you. I was like, well, that's the hook. So we kind of restructured the chorus and did the double time second verse thing to kind of give it some life, you know, on the back end, and it just really took off organically. You know, back when it was streaming well, social media wasn't a big deal. I didn't have a bunch of hits on socials or anything like that, or, you know, TikTok wasn't a thing. That was 2018, I think. So it was just organically streaming really well on Spotify.
Yeah.
Like 20,000 streams a week,
People
30,000, 40,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, dadgum, what's going on? I didn't know. I streamed much better in the early days than I do now, but you know, back when I was writing songs by myself or before the Nashville thing kind of came into play, I was getting more streams and more hits on that kind of thing. And maybe that goes back to your first question. I mean, maybe just, this could be advice for anybody listening or an artist in town or locally or wherever. Maybe just stick to your own guns. Write the songs you want to write and promote those. Maybe you don't have to go to Nashville and try to chase the structure that everybody sees as, you know, the deal. I mean, it's very much a program you're right to, but the program's kind of being busted up right now with people like...
I was just about to say that like, we had another artist in here doing another Spicers Live, and she said that she was really looking forward to having her music on a CD. And I think I laughed about it, and we kind of cut up about it. But then it occurred to me that, like, there's no reason that that's not an amazing idea. You know what I mean? Yeah. And she really meant it and was sticking to her guns about it. And it's my perception, you know, that things are going the way of streaming and stuff like that. But I don't think that's... I feel like the moment has passed on that too. And we're all just kind of waiting to, like... I think people want something real.
Yeah, they do.
That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Because, like, the way that social media has kind of affected our culture is that we only see the highlights of everybody's lives, and we only see, you know, the best things, whatever. And it's just not real. Yeah. Right? Everybody goes through their ups and downs, and maybe that's why some of these songs connect so well with people, is that, you know, life isn't all just perfect all the time. It's like, you know, there's hardships and stuff. And you talk about that in a lot of your songs. And loss and grief and, you know, substance abuse issues and that sort of stuff. Makes me think that maybe you're right. Maybe it is just stick to your guns and keep doing what you do. And that's what people want, is what you do, not what, you know, not a manufactured product for them.
I think that's the program now. Just stick to doing what you're doing.
Just do you.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't lose.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess at the end of the day, too, there's again, I mentioned this a minute ago, but it's like, those are yours.
They're
like,
still your babies, yeah. You
yeah,
can't
they're
lose.
yours.
Yeah.
Like, it's nobody can take that from you.
Yeah.
And there's some pride there.
Yeah, I've got, 12, 13 songs on Spotify. Half of them hadn't done a darn thing, but I don't care. I still love them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're, most of them, there's probably a few that when I was getting courted around with the publishing deals, they're putting you in rooms with people that have 10 number one hits, and you're nervous and you're really not partaking in the song a lot, but there's a few of those that I've got out that I probably didn't have a whole lot to do with. But I still love the songs because that was a moment that I got to live. That was the pride that I got to take into being in a room with somebody that's got 10 number ones.
Sure, yeah.
And I took a week off of work to go up there and write with these people to try to make something happen, So it all means the world to me, and they're all my kids pretty much.
Yeah, I think, and we kind of did a little bit of an interview thing in the lead up to this song a couple of minutes ago. I just totally got in the way, and then you just took it from there, which is great. But telling the story, kind of how the song got written, and correct me on the song titles, Love You.
Love You Like It Is.
Love You Like It Is, right. When I was listening through your stuff, that was the one that connected with me. It was, you've got other ones that got a lot more hits than that or listens and stuff. Yeah. And then that one, I was like, man, that's a killer song.
I feel that way about it too. I thought it was so special. Wrote it with Dylan Marlowe and Lee Langston. Like I said, I think I told the story earlier, but I played a writer's round that night in Nashville. That was kind of when I had a pretty good bit of steam. I was getting a lot of people reaching out wanting to write and stuff like that. And I'd made these buddies, Lee, Dylan, Noah Hicks, McCoy Moore. They were all, kind of came to support me that night. And then I went and stayed at Dylan's house. I think Dylan, Lee, and Noah lived together at the time, but Noah probably went to bed, and we were eating some Taco Bell, and Dylan comes downstairs with his guitar, and he's playing that little melody thing. And I had the first part of the first verse, the sun come up, ain't nothing new, same old worn out coffee brew, same old people, same bad news, same old me, same old you. And then Dylan's like, we wrote it in 30 minutes. Dylan's like,
yeah, it's one of those songs that just happens.
Yeah, it just happened immediately.
Yeah.
It was fun, and we're cutting up and laughing and having a couple beers, and eating greasy Taco Bell. That's just, when I play that song, I was like, man, that's a fun night, The song tanked. It didn't do anything, but we had fun. And
it's a killer song.
Yeah, and you get to, and in hindsight, Dylan had a lot going on at the time. Internally, we all knew what he had coming down the pipeline, but he hadn't had any major success at the time, and now he's pretty huge. He's got a couple number ones and got a song in the top 10 right now on radio. So it's good to look back and think about that stuff and the memories and cherish how lucky I've been to be able to do that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's a blessing for sure. Not a lot of people. You're a musician. It's hard to even find your way into some of those rooms, or even have an opportunity to write with somebody like Dylan at the time. I knew he was special. I knew Lee was special too. But it's like watching them at their base. 3-4 roommates in a duplex crammed in there. Mm-hmm. Dishes in the sink and leftover deer meat on the stove, and just
that's like core memory stuff.
Yeah, just because I love music so much, and to be able to tie a song back to a memory, or even to think about this song ties to that exact memory, but it also goes back to what I went through to get to that point too.
You got a tear-jerking song about your daughter learning to walk.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I about lost it. I was at my desk at work listening to that song. I was like, don't cry.
I can't play it. I don't play it.
You can't do it?
Nope.
I understand why. It's so deeply personal. Yeah. But let me change gears on this, because there's a ton of songs that you've got that are sad or emotional songs, but that's kind of the way country music is. It's telling the story, right? And it's like, these are the critical stories about somebody's life. Mm-hmm. But it's also goofy songs and lighthearted songs, so doing what we do. Right? Yeah. I think that's your most recent release, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it just came out.
Yeah.
It's like a lot. It's a different vibe. It's kind of swampy, lighthearted, little.
So that I love that song, by the way. Hard to play live. That's why we didn't play it tonight. But I wrote that with Paul and Drew.
Okay.
Same people I wrote A Problem with Whiskey with. If I was going to go back to Nashville next week and spend a week, I would want to write with them every day. They're my buddies.
It seems like y'all.
Yeah, we vibe
pretty good,
very well together. So we were
we went in that day. I was like, look, I don't care what we write, honestly, but can we try to write a Laney song? So we were trying to write a Laney Wilson song, and I was like, I got this little thing like, it's so hot down here in Southland, you gotta sleep with a box fan on. And I just thought it felt Laney Wilson-esque. Now, obviously, it's not a Laney Wilson song. It's a Blane Rudd song now. She probably didn't even hear it. But we were kind of shooting for that, yeah. That's kind of one instance where we were trying to write for a certain artist, but it just...
But we've been talking about that. Max is part of the conversation during all of these, and it's like, why are we doing this? And like the whole point of this was to be sort of a platform for local artists, right? That was the idea. But to some degree, it's kind of a snapshot of like this, of like everything that's going on now in our town in this tiny, beautiful, the tiny town in this beautiful room, and it's like this is some sort of like it's like a repository now. It's kind of what it's turning into, and for that reason, it's super cool. And we're super thankful that you've come down to do this.
Glad to be here.
You entertained us. I feel like you were just getting warmed up to like play all night kind of thing.
I could have, yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Once I start, it's hard to turn it off. It's a disease.
No, I mean,
I can't stop playing.
No, everybody that's been on this show has been like that. And that's the thing, is that there's so many good musicians in this town and there's so much talent here, but it's also like maybe a testament to some degree to the store itself to be like, providing sort of that resource. I don't want to get too cheesy about it, but like,
no.
I didn't have a music store when I was in my hometown. Like, we had a terrible music store.
I'm here to talk about how great this music store is because I love it. I try to buy everything from here that I can, unless it's some kind of good used deal that a buddy has that you can't pass up. No. If I'm buying something new, I buy it from here. Both of my main guitars are from here. This one, I mean, the 20. Let's get her out. This little girl right here. This thing. Kind of reshapes my thought process on music altogether. I mean, I had quit for a couple of years. And I came in here and I was like, I need a good premium Martin, because I've got a few Martins that are just the old, I call them the church model Martins, the ones that, the GPCPA ones and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
DC, I got like a DCME and something else, the ones that aren't really premium.
Good guitars.
Good guitars, but yeah. And I was like, this is mid 2017. I had taken a couple years off from playing, and I want a new guitar to just re-spark my interest in writing songs and playing. And this guitar that I got from here is the reason that I think I've done anything, because everything that happened for me happened post buying this guitar and getting reignited and had the fire lit again. In the whole writing songs.
Sometimes it takes doing something new or getting a new guitar, a new piece of gear or something like that to get it going.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I just got a new drum set a couple months ago, and I've been playing and playing and playing.
I'm not a gearhead, but when you get something good that feels good, and this one, buddies in Nashville pick it up, and they're like, man, something about this guitar. It just, every guitar is different. They're all made by somebody somewhere in some factory somewhere, but I think they all have their own little, touch to them. They all play different. Yeah, I've never played a Gibson that played the same as another Gibson.
No, that's why it's important. Yes, Max.
If I can interject.
Yes, Max, in the back.
I've worked here for 3 years, and I've seen a bunch of D28s come through here. That one's got some mojo.
It does, man. I don't know what it is, but it does.
But that underscores the reason that you need to go to your local music store to get your gear, because every single guitar is different. It could be the same line, same model, one number apart, and it's just a little bit different, a little bit.
Yeah, go to your local music store, play the guitars, support local business like I try to do. And I use Spicers for a lot of production stuff if I'm not bringing my own stuff, if I don't want to deal with it, or if the budget's high enough to use, Spicers, I'm going to use them. I want to give back to the community like Tim's a phenomenal guy and helps me out monetarily on some things when I need a little bit of help, and has done some other things for me just out of the good graces.
Yeah, you know, there's the other thing about being in a small town is that you can't just, as a business, you can't just take from the community. You can't just take their money. Like, you got to be involved in the community and give back. And that's what this whole thing was built on. I don't know if everybody's heard this story, but when the store first opened up, they took their own instruments to put them on the walls to make sure that the store looked full and that sort of thing. Because it's like, it's as mom and pop as it could possibly be. But it's grown into such this great platform, like I mentioned a minute ago, for, you know, local. It's twice, more than twice the size of what it was originally, and there's this beautiful room waiting here and all that sort of stuff. It's cool to watch something like that grow, but it also requires, you know, the community has to support you, and you also have to support the community and the artists in the community.
And what the store does for aspiring musicians, to me, is the biggest part of it. I mean, we were in here earlier, and there's kids coming out of lesson rooms and rock band school let out. I mean, they're back there jamming to some stuff, and like what they do for the university and the high schools around and the kids that want to play. I mean, you got to keep feeding the musical monster. If you don't, then the art gets lost somewhere along the way. I mean,
I mentioned this a minute ago too, that I didn't really have a good music store in my hometown. There was one that opened up and then it closed and opened back up and closed and whatever. It was never consistent. And they only had like these beginner drumsticks. And so I actually had to drive to Nashville. It was Mars Music back in the day. That's old reference. I don't even know if anybody would know about that. But Mars Music, to get actual good, not child's toy drumsticks. And so, you know, it was an hour and a half drive just to get, you know, this $10 piece of gear. And it's like, not everybody has a sweet music store in their own town. And
I love it. And that's why I'll continue to support it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I can't come in here and spend $5,000 a week like I want to, but drop in, buy some strings, buy some picks, I mean, get a hat, whatever. And if I buy a guitar, I'm going to buy it from here.
Well, this room has every guitar that you could pretty much ever want. From you're playing the was it a 58 Martin? Was that what it was?
It's a 50 Martin.
50 Martin. Yeah. Max, what is it? A 50.
50. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you were playing that a little bit earlier. We thought you were going to play a song with it,
I really wanted to.
Some Hank Senior or something. All right, let's get back set up. We got to film.
We're good. We probably need to go eat dinner at some point tonight, don't we?
Well, Blane, thank you so much for doing Spicers Live, man. It's been a blast having you. It's been great talking to you and hearing your music. And I mean, really, we're thankful that you were able to come in and do this for us and entertain both of us tonight. This has been phenomenal.
Took you long enough.
I know. It took us a long time.
Been waiting for 3 months.
Oh, you talking about just to call you?
Yeah.
That's my bad.
Holy crap.
That's my bad.
Nah, we're okay. We'll do it again.
Appreciate it.
We can do it again. We got a big catalog. We can run some other songs next week. I love doing this.
The B-sides?
Yeah. Thank y'all for having me, though. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fun. Yes, sir.